Do you ever feel like you're giving so much to everybody else that there's nothing left for you? Like the overwhelm begins to creep in and self-care goes flying out the window because it just feels like another thing to do on the to-do list, and you end up spiraling. Does that sound like you? Have you been there? Are you there right now maybe? Well, I think the key for understanding why you feel like this is the Enneagram, an ancient personality typing tool. And I think it shows us how we can move from overwhelm and into overflow. I'm going to tell you all about it today. But first off, welcome back to my channel. If we've never met before, hi, my name is Evie. I am your self-appointed big sister, helping you step into your overflow, wave goodbye to overwhelm using the Enneagram. I'm so glad that you're here. Just before we go any further, hit subscribe so you can stay up to date with all of my other videos. Okay, let's dive in. So if you're looking for a tailored self-care strategy, you're in the right place. If you are looking for bespoke care for you, you're in the right place. If you are ready to start thriving and stop just surviving, you're in the right place. So let's talk about it. If you have never come across the Enneagram before, it's an ancient personality typing tool from ancient Greece. It's been around for like a really long time. If you don't know your Enneagram type, there are 9 types. You are either 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, or 9. They've got more interesting names than that. But if you scroll down into the description, click on the link for my free quiz and spend 3 minutes, you are going to find out your Enneagram type too. Once you know your Enneagram type, or if you already know your Enneagram type, drop it in the comments. Let me know which type you are. I would love to freak you out with how much I already know about you because I'm an expert in this knowledge. Let me freak you out. It's going to be good. And I thought it would be really good to look at what overwhelm looks like dependent on your Enneagram type. So again, if you don't know your Enneagram type, you might be able to work out which one you are just by listening to this list. Okay, let's start at the beginning. Enneagram type 1s, the reformers. Overwhelm for you guys looks like perfectionism and that feeling of nothing ever being good enough. And your self-care tip is to be able to rest without having to do anything, clean anything, improving anything. Enneagram type 2s, the helper. Overwhelm for you shows up when you focus too much on other people's needs and not enough on your own. A self-care tip for you guys is pulling out your phone right now and scheduling in your calendar, just like you would schedule to meet a friend for coffee, time for just you. Me time, alone time. Time for you to focus on your own self-care. Okay, Enneagram type 3s, the achievers. So overwhelm for you guys really stems from overworking, tying your worth to productivity, and chasing the never-ending goals. Your self-care tip is to create boundaries around work and then follow through on them. Okay, Enneagram type 4, the individualist. Overwhelm for you guys stems from comparison to others. And your self-care tip is practicing getting into the present moment. So that could look like going for a walk, sensory grounding, gratitude journaling, something like that. The Enneagram 5, the investigator. Overwhelm for you guys rises when you overthink or isolate to conserve energy. If you're an Enneagram 5, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. And your self-care tip is to focus on just one thing at a time when things start to feel overwhelming. Okay, Enneagram type 6s, the loyalist. Your overwhelm is rooted in your worst case scenario thinking. You know that thing that you do like all of the time? Your self-care tip is to bring the body into it. Can you practice breath work or mindfulness to help calm down that anxiety? Enneagram type 7s, the enthusiasts. Overwhelm for you comes from taking on too much or struggling to slow down. And your self-care tip is to practice saying no, like regularly. Okay, almost coming into land. Enneagram type 8s, the challengers. Overwhelm for you will show up as frustration, and this comes when you feel out of control or unsupported. Your self-care tip is to ask for help, and this could look like from a friend or going to counselling or having a coach, but you need to outsource your support and your help. And then finally, Enneagram type 9s, the peacemakers. Your overwhelm is tied to avoiding or neglecting your own priorities, similar to type 2, but slightly different. And a self-care tip for you is to kind of set those daily intentions around your own needs. And so this could look like breaking down and batching tasks that need to get done for other people so your priorities don't get lost. So we've talked about the overwhelm for each type. We've talked about how we can show up with self-care. What does the overflow look like for each type? Now, if you're an Enneagram nerd like me, you'll know it's your growth number. Yeah, that's like a whole thing in the Enneagram. You can move towards another number. You take on qualities of another number when you're growing and expanding and stepping into that overflow alignment feeling. So if you know that, you'll be able to look for it. This is why I love the Enneagram, right? It's like a roadmap to the most aligned version of you. But if you don't know, let me tell you about it. So if you're a type 1, overflow will look like relaxed and open to imperfection. If you're an Enneagram type 2, overflow will look like being able to prioritize your own needs while still helping others. If you're an Enneagram type 3, overflow will look like celebrating rest as part of the success. It's so good. Enneagram type 4s, overflow will look like being present in the here and now and finding joy in the present moment without comparison. For Enneagram type 5s, you'll be able to share your insights with other people without this fear of overextending. That's what overflow looks like for you. For Enneagram type 6s, it'll look like trusting yourself and the process. Full stop. For Enneagram type 7s, you'll be able to find fulfillment in the stillness. For Enneagram type 8s, you'll be able to ask for help really easily, embracing vulnerability as a strength. And for Enneagram type 9s, you'll be confidently taking action towards your goals. Don't they all sound amazing? Now, of course, within the Enneagram, we have our main or dominant type. I'm a type 1, and I move towards a type 7 when I'm growing. But we are made up of all of the Enneagram energies, yeah? It's just that type 1 for me is the loudest. And so all of those sound really good. I would like all of those present in my life. But I find some of them really, really easy. So it's okay if you hear that and think, yeah, I want all of them. Good, me too. Let's run after that. Let's aim for that. Let's be really systematic and use the wisdom of the Enneagram to help us get there. And so usually that starts with focusing on what our type needs first. But let me know, have you been in a season of overwhelm recently, or are you in a season of overflow? What does that look like? How does that feel? Does your type self-care tips resonate, or have you thought of something else whilst I've been talking? I would love to know. These are really practical strategies to help you show up for yourself, to support you when you get lost in overwhelm, because hey, we're human. That's really normal. That is going to happen. But how can we take intentional steps today to help us move back into that overflowing, peaceful state? I'd love to know where you're at on the journey. Remember, self-care isn't selfish. It isn't selfish. It isn't selfish. It's completely essential. When you honor your needs, you're not just surviving. You're creating a life that feels abundant, aligned, and overflowing. Something that all of us deserve. Let me know in the comments how overwhelm shows up for you and what you're committing to shift this year. You've got this. So do I. Let's do it together. Thank you again for watching this video, and I would love to know how you are. I'll see you in the comments.